Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Khoj Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation is Maj Mahalla Tija. Iko Aap Phirai Parchana, Gurmukh ਵੇਖਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੋ ਮਨ ਭਿੰਨਾ ਤ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨਾ ਤਜ ਸਹਿਜ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਇਆ ਏਕੋ ਮਨ ਵਸਾਵਣਿਆ ਹਉ ਵਾਰੀ ਜੀਉ ਵਾਰੀ ਏਕਸ ਸਿਉ ਚਿਤ ਲਾਵਣਿਆ ਗੁਰਮਤੀ ਮਨ ਇਕੱਤ ਘਰ ਆਇਆ ਸੱਚੇ ਰੰਗ ਰੰਗਾਵਣਿਆ ਰਹਾਉ ਇਹ ਜਗ ਭੂਲਾ ਤੈਂ ਆਪ ਭੁਲਾਇਆ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਸਾਰ ਦੂਜੇ ਲੁਭਾਇਆ ਅਣਦਿਨ ਸਦਾ ਫਿਰੇ ਭ੍ਰਮ ਭੂਲਾ ਬਿਨ ਨਾਵੈ ਦੁਖ ਪਾਵਣਿਆ ਜੋ ਰੰਗ ਰਾਤੇ ਕਰਮ ਵਿਦਾਤੇ ਗੁਰ ਸੇਵਾ ਤੇ ਜੁਗ ਚਾਰੇ ਜਾਤੇ ਜਿਸਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਦੇ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਹਰ ਕੈ ਨਾਮ ਸਮਾਵਣਿਆ ਮਾਇਆ ਮੋਹ ਹਰ ਚੇਤੈ ਨਾਹੀ ਜੰਪੁਰ ਬੱਧਾ ਦੁਖ ਸਹਾਈ ਅੰਨਾ ਬੋਲਾ ਕਿਛ ਨਦਰ ਨ ਆਵੈ ਮਨ ਮੁਖ ਪਾਪ ਪਛਾਵਣਿਆ ਇਕ ਰੰਗ ਰਾਤੇ ਜੋ ਤੁਧ ਆਪ ਲਿਵ ਲਾਏ ਭਾਏ ਭਗਤ ਤੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਭਾਏ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਸੇਵਨ ਸਦਾ ਸੁਖ ਦਾਤਾ ਸਭ ਇੱਛਾ ਆਪ ਪੁਜਾਵਣਿਆ ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਦਾ ਸਰਨਾਈ ਆਪੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਹਿ ਦੇ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਜਮ ਕਾਲ ਤਿਸ ਨੇੜ ਨ ਆਵੈ ਜੋ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਵਣਿਆ ਅਨੰਦਿਨ ਰਾਤੇ ਜੋ ਹਰ ਭਾਏ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਮੇਲੇ ਮੇਲ ਮਿਲਾਏ ਸਦਾ ਸਦਾ ਸੱਚੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਰਨਾਈ ਤੂੰ ਆਪੇ ਸੱਚ ਬੁਝਾਵਣਿਆ ਜਿਨ ਸਚ ਜਾਤਾ ਸੇ ਸਚ ਸਮਾਣੇ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਵਹਿ ਸਚ ਵਖਾਣੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਰਤੇ ਬੈਰਾਗੀ ਨਿਜ ਘਰ ਤਾੜੀ ਲਾਵਣਿਆ. We'll take the shabad from the top in a free translation. Iko Aap Phirai Parchana. The One, the Creator Self, moves amidst its creation in mysterious ways. It does so hidden from view. Gurmukh ਵੇਖਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਮਨ ਭਿੰਨਾ. Good wisdom opens the eye of the mind for us to experience the One in the heart. In other words, because the One is hidden and veiled from us, we need another set of faculties in order to perceive it, in order to feel it. And that is intuitive awareness that comes from Guru wisdom. And when the One Self comes to dwell in the heart, all cravings are satiated by a sense of wholesomeness. Trishna taj sahaj sukh paya eko man vasavaniya. This first section pretty much tells us what the rest of the Shabad is going to be about. It is telling us to cultivate another set of faculties through Guru wisdom so that we can begin to experience and perceive that which is not available to the senses. And for that, the root cause to address is what it calls Trishna, cravings. Taj, Trishna Taj. Then, Sahaj Sukh Paya, you will experience a state of Sukh, which we will talk about as being an agreeable wholesomeness that then pervades the mind. And so therefore, the Guru offers his salutations unto those. How vari jio vari. Those who adopt the Guru's counsel. Gurumati man ikat kar aya. Through the Guru's counsel, those who have attuned their consciousness to the one all-pervading self, to them the Guru offers salutations. And then he goes on to observe that e jag pula te aap pulaya. The world has gone astray because the self within is forgotten, and the world of phenomena lures us. And what happens there is self-doubt and delusion lead us astray. Andin sada Phirai Parchana. Without self-knowledge, we remain in a disagreeable state. Bin Paramapula, bin name dukh pavanaya. So we need to bear in mind that the Guru is contrasting and comparing two states of the mind, dukh and sukh. And we'll talk about them. We'll see how we need to make the choice here. Guru wisdom is what awakens the self within and imparts the gift of its knowledge. Gur sevate jug chare jate. It awakens the awareness. Then the intuitive knowledge of the four dimensions, creation, and the giver of the law, Vedate, becomes known to the mind through Guru wisdom. He reverts back to, he's contrasting between the two states, one where we are attached to Guru wisdom, the other where we are attached and looking outward through our senses. Maya moh har chete nahi. It causes this forgetfulness of the self. Without Guru wisdom, the mind is self-centered. It's man mukh. It remains deluded and forgetful of the self. And the Guru calls it anna bola kich nadar na aave, blind and deaf to what? To the self. Anna bola kich nadar na aave. And it's caught in the trammels of time. Jampur baddha, the constraints of time. Time binds us. We are in bondage of time because we are experiencing this impermanence through time. So we are caught and entangled with time. And that is what causes us to endure a disagreeable and unpleasant existence. And we'll see shortly why this is so. Dukha sahaya. And that causes us to transgress. Pāpa pacavanaya. Transgression. Transgress means missing the mark, going off the wrong road, so to speak. But again, there are some who are soaked in the love of the self, ikrangarate, and who are mindful of the presence. Juttud Aap Phirai. They are filled with devotion, and therefore they are pleasing to you, the Guru is saying. Bhagat tere man paye. This is another way of saying that they're attuned to the natural order of things. They're attuned to your will. And by following the counsel of the true enlightener, Satguru Sevana Sada, they find the source of fulfillment, Sukhadata, Sab Ichha Aap Pujavanaya, within. This is the source of that Sukh. It is within. And that causes you to stay on the right path. And here, that self, the creator self, is being addressed as the refuge for all creatures and beings. Harjiyo teri sada sarnai. In your mercy, you bestow all gifts. That is to say, you sustain us. Aap bakshe de vadiyai. And when that happens, you seize the fear of death from those who awaken to self-knowledge. Jam kaal tis ned na aave, jo har naam te avanaya. Har also means to seize, to capture, to hijack. So those who awaken to self-knowledge, the fear of death is seized and taken away. And the sanctuary that we are in is eternal. And it is in this sanctuary where revelation occurs to us within. The revelation through the wisdom. Mere Prabh, mele mere milai. Prabh is an attribute of the self which signifies wisdom. And then, tu aape sach bujavaniya, it is in this sanctuary, meaning in this body, in this world, that this revelation can occur. The loving herself can reveal itself to you within. That's really what we are driving at. And those who do awake to self-awareness, jin sach jata, se sach samane, they become like the har. Samane means to become equal to or become like. And they then embody the qualities of the self and act in harmony with the truth. Har gun gave, sach vakhane. They become embodiments of the truth. And in the end, says Nanak, the mind that is filled with self-knowledge returns to its source. It experiences a kind of homecoming. Nanak naam rate bairagi, nij ghar tadi lamaniya. So it is a return. It is a homecoming. Now, let's talk a little bit about sukh, dukh, the two states that the Guru is contrasting and comparing for us. So the choice for us is to live with agreeable wholesomeness, sukh, or disagreeable fragmentation, dukh. And we've noted elsewhere that sukh and dukh are recurring themes, and they symbolize the state of the being, the body-mind psychophysical continuum, which has both gross and subtle attributes. So sukh is commonly understood as being solely the passing pleasure or enjoyment, the day-to-day happiness that we seek. But we must remember that it has another context as well, and it also refers to the state of transcendental bliss or anand. So we must bear that in mind, that Gurbani is essentially talking about sukh as an attribute of the self, a state of wholesomeness, of integration, and likewise dukh. These are two properties of the self. It is and dukh, in contrast, doesn't stand in opposition. It really is a choice. It is unsatisfactory. Dukh represents unsatisfying, unsatisfactory, the empirical world. So why is the world of phenomena unsatisfactory? Why is it the source of dukh? Because it is impermanent, constantly arising and ceasing. That is the fundamental property of all existent things. It's their conditioning. That is to say, they are subject to cause and effect, and therefore they're impermanent, and therefore they are unsatisfactory. So in sum, all of our conditioned existence is unsatisfactory and therefore unhappy and leads to dukh. However, we must remember that it is precisely the impermanence of the material world, Maya, that actually enables and allows the possibility of change. Imagine if everything was permanent, there would be nothing changing, and therefore there would be no way out. It is because things change, because there is a gap between cause and effect, that you have an opening. And that is the opening that we need to find. The opening to that blissful and eternal presence that lies behind what is forever arising and ceasing, coming and going. And the root of this dukh, the Guru told us in the very first section, Trishna Taj. Trishna means craving for things and feelings. Craving meaning sensations of the senses, whether it is smell, whether it is sight, whether it is touch. We are constantly craving these sensations, and these keep changing, and that's what causes us to be in a state of dukh. This arises from agyan, that is agyan of our own selves, and that is what leads us astray. Guru wisdom is the way out to sukh, where one becomes attuned to the permanent and immutable self. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.